Orifalane. Let's look at security this morning. Well, a particular aspect of it. I'm talking here about the herders-farmers clashes that has bedeviled security in our country for quite a while. Well, yesterday, a bill seeking to establish ranches all over Nigeria was proposed and it was debated. In fact, it has passed the second reading at the Senate, but it wasn't without a heated debate. And but as I said, it has been passed for the second reading. Now, our guest this morning to look at the subject matter of Southeast insecurity, exploring solutions to farmers' herders' clashes, is Mazi Chukwuma. Okpalaye Ezeoku is the acting national youth leader, Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide. He's also the convener of Youth Leaders and Stakeholders Convention Enugu 2024. Good morning to you, Mazi.
Good morning, brother. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. Hope you're good too. Now, as I said, it's not just you. You're not just the only person concerned. Even in the National Assembly, they are concerned. So you're probably aware of what I just stated, the bill passing its second reading. Let me just let's just refresh our minds in this report by TVC Adeoye, who covered the event yesterday. We'll come straight back to studio and talk about the subject matter.
Conflicts that erupt.
The bill proposed by Senator Titus Zam was influenced by a motion moved weeks ago on the incessant attacks on farmers by armed herders in rural communities. The lawmaker is seeking the establishment of a commission that will regulate the movement of animals in order to curb the incident of farmer herders clashes in Nigeria.
Whereas other countries with huge farmers and herders populations, including Mauritania, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, have passed pastoral laws and codes which have helped to mitigate the incidence of clashes between sedentary farmers and nomadic herders. This situation is unfortunately treated with kid gloves in Nigeria.
While some lawmakers commended the spirit and content of the bill, some others have their reservation. They want the bill to be reconstructed to capture a more holistic approach that protects all sides.
Farmers are under threat, and what it has led to is the food crisis that we have today.
If we are trying to solve a problem, we must look at it holistically, and the whole country must be involved.
I raise this point of order simply because of what Senator Zam has stated in the bill, which is contrary to the provisions of Section 41 of this Constitution.
Let the leadership come up with something very comprehensive, which protect the interests of each and every person in Nigeria. But going by this bill, it will compound our crisis in Nigeria.
To address these concerns, the Senate proposed that the bill be put forward for public hearing to get the input of all stakeholders.
The section you are referring to is talking about citizens of Nigeria.
Yes.
And cows are not citizens of Nigeria. Cows can come in from Niger.
Despite efforts by some lawmakers to ensure that the bill is stepped down, the bill scaled second reading after a voice vote, and it has now been referred to a joint committee of the Senate for further legislative action. TVC Adeoye, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, thanks for that report. Okay, we're back in studio now, and Mazi Chukwuma Okpalaye Ezeoku is with us in the at our studio in Abuja. Okay, you've heard the report, and because it is looking for a way out, one might have thought that it would receive general support, but as you could see, it is still being contested. In fact, some newspapers say that there was a heated debate. Now, one person was saying in there that a more holistic approach is what they are gunning for, and this refers to the fact that in Senator Zam's bill, there is a mention of establishment by law of ranches in areas where, in states and areas where there are these particular high population of, herders. Others are thinking that, no, don't limit it to just those states. It should be all over the country. I think that was where he was going to go. But let me ask for your impressions, seeing as that this subject matter indeed was what you're here to talk about. What do you think of efforts in the National Assembly and the way the conversation is going at the moment?
Yeah, thank you so much. I must begin with the greetings I will get to you from the leader of the Igbo Nation worldwide, Chief Engineer Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, the President General of Ohaneze and Igbo. Having said so, I must commend the TVC for bringing up such an important matter in such an august time. I must also commend the National Assembly for letting the bill, for giving it their voice by the senators to ensure that it has scaled through the second reading. In case, and indeed, ranching, establishment of ranching is indeed for all Nigerians, as it has a lot of impact, as we already experience in Nigeria, on our security, on our economy. On the security aspect of it, the farmers and herders crisis has taken so many lives, destroyed so many properties, and as well affected our economy, especially our food security. And it is written that necessity is the mother of invention. As it is today, it is indeed necessary that ranches are established in order to curb and control and manage the incessant and unnecessary farmers, herders crisis. About what happened in the National Assembly, it is a norm. It is democracy. People are bound to support, while others will say their opinion that they are not in support. But I must commend the person that said that this must be done in a way that all Nigerians shall be positively affected. And the only way to manage this farmers and herders crisis in a way that shall benefit all is by the progressive establishment of ranches. For instance, if you are a farmer and you farm crops and as well rear animals, it must not be cow in the same compound. Believe you me that it is natural that your goats, even your chicken, will go and eat your vegetables. And once they are eating it, those crops shall not do well. Therefore, the continuous coexistence of crops and animals in the same environment is counterproductive. It shall instigate the crisis that, as of today, claims lives, destroy property, and also affect our economy by way of not letting the farmers produce enough food for the nation. What is even the essence of ranching in the first place? The essence of it is to seclude and limit the animals within a given area that they will not affect the crops. I don't know if I'm communicating. So on the farmers and
Mazi, indeed, you are communicating, Mazi. The heated part of the bill, no doubt, is because when you look at the bill, what it is seeking to establish is ranches, and the implication of that is to prohibit open grazing across the country, and that is where, people don't really have too much of an issue with ranching, but the aspect of prohibit open grazing. And as you know, this has been a cause for contention There are people who are saying that this is our age-old practice. It goes back hundreds of years. But there is a new way. And I guess this is why this bill was heatedly debated. That aspect about ranches, of course, now, and by implication and extension, prohibiting open grazing. You shall not be transporting cows from place A to place B anywhere in states that have that law when it comes to be enacted, if it is enacted following all of this debate. That is the bone of contention.
In my opinion, I doubt if cows cannot be transported from one place to another if ranching laws are established. Rather, they should be transported in a vehicle and not be moving on their own. Do you know one of the essence of rearing this cow is economic purposes?
I'm guessing, without being a senator or a lawyer, what you've just said, that wouldn't give any offense. If you do not, you see, the point is open grazing. If you transport your cattle, if you transport them in a trailer, for example, from point A to point B, and that is not a problem. But the fact that the very nature of open grazing is what brings about these clashes. Transporting them properly would not bring a clash, and it is that open grazing part that the bill seeks to ban entirely that is causing, shall we say, vigorous debates.
Yeah, open grazing is costing us a lot. It is costing us lives and property, food security. It is also costing us a lot in our economy. Open grazing at this point in time as a nation is counterproductive. If not for anything, the basic responsibility of governance is to protect lives and property. And believe you me, open grazing has proved all these efforts abortive. Open grazing is even not giving the desired or expected economic benefits of rearing cows. Do you know if animals are kept in a ranch, they will be saved the energy of moving from one place to another. They will no longer lose weight. They will have more meat. And once a cow has more meat, it is more economically beneficial. Ranches shall not only save us lives, save us a crisis, save us security challenges. Ranches shall as well promote peace and also enhance the economic benefits of cow. And yes.
Indeed, Mazi.
Yes, now I want to make a point. Herders are mainly the Fulanese. I am in touch with Alhaji.
Although not exclusively. Mainly, but not exclusively.
Hello?
Mainly, but not exclusively.
Yes, but major, it is not exclusive, but they are major there. I am in touch with a leader of the Mieti Ala in Southeast, a genuine man who wants peace in Southeast. He has told me these criminals are not part of them, that they are invading our nation from somewhere else, that they are even endangering the genuine herders into insecurity. Now, do you know that if we establish ranches now, it will be easy for the security agencies who do that for economic purposes, because their cow shall be in ranches in a well secured and enabling environment. Indeed. Why the criminals will be moving about in the bush. It will be easier for our security men to apprehend them, attack them, and stop them from killing our people. And again, if we establish ranches, our farmers will no longer suffer. Their crops will flourish, and they shall produce more food. Therefore, ranching is far more beneficial, secure for us at this point in time, for national unity, for our progress.
Indeed, Mazi. In fact, it's a no-brainer, all that you have said. But the issue, I think, we can talk about this, is that the idea of ranching in Nigeria today, useful as the idea is, modern, progressive, and all of that, the issue why you notice that those that were raising against the motion are asking for further careful consideration, for a holistic approach. All of this is coming from the concept that, well, you just said it, the Fulanis, although not exclusively, but majorly are those involved, it runs against their whole way of being, their whole attitude to their stock, their cattle, and it's just not their way of life. So it's disrupting of a way of life that's gone on for perhaps hundreds of years. So people are not looking at those things that you are saying, even as they are logical. When you don't have herders moving up and down, open grazing, which is the only way they know. They also, the educated among them, are aware that everything that you said is indeed so. But it is not the way of their people. And this is where the problem is. How do we get the herders, especially majorly the Fulanis, whose way of life involves moving with their herds up and down the land, how do we get them to understand that these are different times from those hundreds of years ago? Now it's a different way of life. They are used to being on the move. And ranching, by definition, is going to put you in a place where the cows will benefit. But how about the other aspect, the way of life of the Fulani people, for example? I think this is where, this is why you're hearing things like, let's look at it from a more holistic point of view. Somebody even said that we will fight it to the last. You heard that short report. We will fight it to the last. So I guess there's a way of life aspect to all of this that is going to, no doubt, create interesting components to the conversation that is going to follow.
Yeah, thank you so much. I must say that ranching is not an ethnic phenomenon, even though I agree with you that the Fulanis are mainly herders, but rearing of cows are not is not exclusive to any ethnicity. But this is a matter of national security. This is a matter of security of lives, economy, and property. It is not an ethnic sentiment. At this point in time, there are so many countries who are into agriculture, who have cows in larger number than us. They do not encounter a crisis because they do not do open grazing. Naturally, if open grazing continue the way Nigeria is as of today, we shall continue to have increase and rise on insecurity, loss of lives, because it is natural that a cow shall eat crops. And there is no way a farmer shall farm and a cow shall come and eat and you ask them to be calm. And there is no way a farmer will hurt a cow and a herder will not react. It is a matter of national security. For us to coexist, live in peace, it is a necessity that we invent ranching to ensure that our economy is sustained.
We're not inventing
and the
ranching.
basis of governance promoted.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
We're not inventing ranching, as you well know, but it's a matter of importing the idea here. You know, I was saying earlier that it is not considered the way of life of the historic, the classical Fulani man and his way of life as regards his cattle, even though we've underlined the fact that it's not as if the Fulani are exclusively the ones involved in ranching. There's sizable ranchers from other parts of the country as well. But the part that I think perked up the ears of most senators who spoke at that debate is looking for an outright ban on open grazing and its implication for a way of life. Now, where it is established that ranching is the way, there are countries, Mauritania, some other kind of places, where it's not as if we're the largest ranchers, cattle holders in the world. But apparently the idea, maybe because of their cultural differences, has gone down well and is running successfully. But the biggest argument here is that this is not the way of my forefathers. And we will fight. That is why they said we will fight it till the end. Although there's nothing that education can't do. But this, I think, is the challenge now. And Senator Titus Zam, who proposed the bill and led the debate on it, is fully well. He's fully well aware. He's from Benue Northwest. He's from Benue Northwest. He's fully aware of this aspect, and the only way forward is ranching. But it is meeting up with a pushback from those who are largely, nothing else, are largely defending a way of life.
For me, I may agree with you, and I also totally agree with the sponsor of the bill that ranching is the only way out of this monster, which is farmers' herders' crisis. It is indeed threatening us as a nation. It can pull this nation down if open grazing continues. For our brothers who it seems to be their culture, their tradition, I must encourage and urge them to try so much to adapt as long as it didn't affect their livelihood and survival. Because I know, yes, for you to be saved the energy of moving round the world to feed your cow, and now you have the opportunity to feed your cow, have it grow, and you make more money than you move about. Because a cow in a ranch is going to give more income than a cow that was trained by moving from one place to the other. Because the one in the ranch shall be more economically beneficial. It shall be bigger. It shall have more meat. The essence of being a herder is to earn a livelihood, to grow your cow, and when it is up to age, you sell it and make your returns. This is the basis of herding business, and it is not affected by ranching.
All right, then. It's not as if Nigeria doesn't know about or have ranches, but these are